so much. Keeping people close to my heart in the presence of mind and embracing a mindset of emunah. It's a beautiful kavanah for this time. Okay, my friends. Also, please save the date. December 4 to 7, I'll be at Kripalu Center in Stockbridge, Mass. in the Berkshires. So if you're looking for an elongated retreat where we can meet and share Shabbat and yoga, put that on your calendar. I'll have more information soon. Today, of course, is June 23rd. It's the 27th of the month of Sivan. We're coming to the end of the month. Rosh Chodesh will be a 2-day Rosh Chodesh for Tammuz, starting Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday of this week. And our Torah portion this week is Korach. We'll get to that in a moment. So we're going to begin, as I said, on quadruped. Rachel, thank you for putting that link in the chat. I'm not sure if that's the old one or if there's something up yet. Maybe there isn't, I didn't know. So beginning in quadruped, and if that's not comfortable for you, feel free to sit in your chair, tall spine. You can also line your mat, as I've done, to have something under your knees, and you can lessen the angle at your wrists, if you wish, by making a fold so the blanket's a little bit higher than where the palms of your hands are going to be. It'll just lessen the flexion on your wrist. In any case, we want to always draw energy up and out of the wrists. Let's just begin with a little bit of cat and cow. So knees are directly under the hips, and the wrists are directly under the shoulders. And as we inhale, tilting the sitting bones up, letting the belly drop, widening the collarbones as we lengthen the whole spine and start to gaze forward or up, depending on how the neck allows. And as you exhale, navel towards the spine, nice dome of the mid-ribs, tuck the tail, curl. Inhale, lengthen as you arch the spine. And so it's the same action, of course, if you're doing it in your chair. Exhaling, curling, and just keep this going. You don't have to be in sync with me. In your own breath, in your own time. Inhale, arch, and exhale, curl. Just beginning to dive right in to movement and sensation, linking movement and breath. And then come back to neutral, come back to center. And we're going to make a circle with the rib cage. So this is something I often call stirring the navel, if you want to think that you're taking the navel around in a circle. But we're still taking cat and cow, just on a different plane, as we make a circle with the rib cage, essentially. And you can bend the elbows as you come down, and the chest comes toward the floor. And then as you come up, we're curling. And then switching directions, wherever you were going, go the other way. So the rib cage is basically leading us in a circle. We're sort of making a kind of churning action a little bit with the abdomen. Good, and then pause, come back to the center, and we're going to take the right leg back behind us. Heel is in line with the hip, toes are pointing down, and the left arm forward. We call this bird dog. And you can do this standing and using the chair to balance. Draw the navel toward the spine, crown of the head to the heel, long line, and then release. Take the left leg back. Again, core is engaged, navel toward the spine, flexing the foot, all the toes pointing down. The heel is at the same height as the sitting bones, and then right arm forward, palm facing in, lengthen. Breathe. And just feel that corseting of the ribs in, that knitting of the ribs. Come on down. Inhale, switch sides, right leg, left arm. Balancing across the body. Exhale, come down. Inhale, switch. Exhale, come down. Very nice. And then come to find a comfortable seat. And you can just work out the wrists in any way that feels good. Maybe it's holding and going both ways, or maybe it's circles, what I like to call flamenco arms, either way. So find a comfortable seat wherever you are. It could be cross legs. I'm sitting in hero pose, anything you like. We want to have a tall spine, and we're going to do a little breath work, again, to kind of fire up the center, heat up the belly a little. And it's going to look like this. We're going to inhale and take the arms up and extend the fingers. And as we exhale, it's going to be like Kapalabhati, a forced exhalation out the nose. Like that. And as we do it, we're going to make fists and draw in to the sides of the rib cage. So it's inhale through the nose and exhale like that. Okay? So just pause for a moment, take a couple of breaths as normal. And we'll do a set of 10. Inhaling fully. And exhaling fully. And here we go. In, X. Three, 2, 1. And then just let the breath come back to normal. Inhaling, fill. Exhaling, release. We'll do one more set. This time we'll do 20. If you feel that you get a little dizzy or lightheaded at any point, just stop, return the breathing to normal. Inhale fully. Exhale. Here we go. Ten. 18, 19, 20. Last one. And returning the breath to normal. Just letting things come back to stillness. Notice how you feel throughout the body. And I'm going to share some teaching. It's related to those warm-ups and that breath. So as I said, my friends, it's the 27th of Sivan. And the month of Tammuz will begin Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Rosh Chodesh. And our parsha today is Korach. So Korach is a really well-known story of uprising. And we know that Korach, who's a Levite, rises up with 250 men and they challenge Moses' power. So I'm reading from the beginning of the portion. Now Korach, son of Yitzhar, son of Kehat, son of Levi, betook himself, along with Datan and Aviram, sons of Eliav, and On the son of Pelet, descendants of Reuven, to rise up against Moses, together with 250 Israelites, chieftains of the community, chosen in the assembly, men of repute. They combined against Moses and Aaron, and they said to them, "You've gone too far, for all the community are holy. Ki chol ha'edah kulam kedoshim." And Yud He Vav He is in their midst. Why then do you raise yourselves above Adonai's congregation? When Moses heard this, he fell on his face, vayipol al panav. Then he spoke to Korach and all his company, saying, "Come morning, Yud-He Vav-He will make known who God is and who is holy, and will grant him access to God's self. God will grant access to the one he has chosen. And eventually, I'm jumping forward, scarcely had Moses finished speaking these words when the ground under them burst asunder, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households. All of Korach's people and all their possessions, they went down alive into Sheol with all that belonged to them. So the question, it begs the question, they were men of repute, as it said. It seems reasonable in a democracy, yes, the complaint of Korach and his band. Why should power be just consolidated to those at the top? But what God determined was that this was ego-driven. This was a power grab. This was not for the well-being of the community, and it wasn't a grounded move in God's estimation. So as Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks put it, though they spoke the language of equality, what they wanted was power. This was argument not for the sake of truth, but for the sake of victory. And so God acted accordingly. So I want to take from that into our practice today. How do we address our anger? How do we notice it? Where do we feel it in the body? How do we act upon it in wise ways? What is power awareness, anger awareness, and core awareness? We can notice where different places where we feel anger in the body. One of the places we often feel it is the solar plexus area. Plexus is the Latin word for braid, and plexus refers to the network of nerves and ganglia that intertwine right here, like a braid and like braids, and they stretch out. That's the solar part. They stretch out like rays. The solar plexus sits right below the diaphragm and right behind your stomach and right in front of the aorta, and its main functions include initiating your fight or flight response and also receiving and transmitting pain reflexes and other sensory impulses in the area of the gut, involved spiritually with transformation, and also involved with digestive issues too. So the issues here, we call this the third chakra, right? Our power, will, a stable ego, individuation. So I want to kind of look at some of that today. That's kind of where we get into finding strength here, finding awareness and sensitivity in this part of the body, and kind of moving, what is it like if we move from that solar plexus out, kind of, and build a little bit of core strength. So coming back to quadruped for a moment, if you will. And you can feel free to stand also on your fists, or sometimes people like to hold weights, and we won't be here for too long. Inhale the right leg back and point the toe, and then exhale, curl, bring the knee towards the nose. Get all the air out. Inhale back. You can even raise the gaze. Exhale, curl. Let this come from the navel out. Inhale, arch, go back, exhale, curl. You may want to just be neutral and not arched. You decide. Inhale back, exhale, curl. Everything out through the nose. One more. Inhaling back, exhaling, curl. And then bring the right foot forward, step it forward into a low lunge. You might take hands to the floor. You might take your blocks here. And start to shift the hips a little forward and back. So a little bit of pulsing. Lengthen the tailbone. Draw the low belly in and up to support the low back. And we're just getting a nice stretch here for quads, for hip flexors on the left as we pulsate the hips a little bit. And then you can bring your hands up to your thigh, press away and lift up. You can come to neutral first if you like here. Just find that length and then press the hips forward. Again, lengthening the tail, really important. From this length, we're going to come into a twist. Inhale the left arm up. And exhale, take a twist. Left hand outside the right knee. A few choices here. You can be here. You can send the right arm back. If you like, you can start to slide the arm down to the elbow or even to the armpit outside the knee. Take the hands in prayer. Find some length as you drop the hips. So a few choices here for the twist. Don't overdo. We're in early times in the class. Use your inhales, as I always say in the twist, to lengthen, and the exhale to twist, to spin the rib cage. So the spine is long, not rounded. Right, wherever you are, spine is long. And then come on back. Is that starting point again of all fours, and we'll take the left side. 5 times like this. Inhale back, exhale, fully exhale, curl the knee toward the nose. Inhale 2, exhale, curl. Inhale 3, exhale, curl. Inhale 4, really right from the belly. Exhale, curl. Last one, inhale. Exhale, curl. And then step forward. Left foot forward between the hands. Maybe you want to take your blocks. You'll see. Coming into a low lunge. And pulsing the hips forward and back. Stay within your range of motion. Remember, I'm just modeling, but you don't need to look like my body looks at all. We each have so many different things going on and different ways in which our own personal body is structured. So go at your own pace, your own range of motion. And the best yoga is to do what's feeling really good for you. So if you go off my path because something else feels better, I support and applaud that. Press into the left thigh with the hands. Come on up to neutral or to, standing on that right shin. And then from here, as you find a lengthened tailbone and the lower belly supporting you, then you can start to bring the hips forward. And you might see there's quite a difference between one hip flexor and thigh and the other. I know I feel that in my own body today. So just staying attuned to sensation. And then we'll take a twist. Inhaling the right arm up and exhale, spin to the left, right hand to the left knee or outside the left knee. You might keep it up here and send the left arm back, opening across the chest. You may, with a lengthened spine, want to slide down to the elbow or even as far as the armpit, depending, again, on your own flexibility, and take prayer hands as you twist. So inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, working into the twist. When you're ready, you can undo that and come in any way you would like to standing. Once you arrive to standing, you might want to place blocks or chair in front of you for a forward fold. You may want to just take the hands down to your own thighs or shins. That's fine too. The feet can be together or hip width apart, whichever way you prefer, standing forward bend. But first thing is find mountain pose. Ground the feet. take a look down at your feet. See that they're parallel. Ankles, knees, hips stacked in one line. Lift and spread the toes to the best of your ability, and then lay those 10 toes down. And ground the inner and outer heel, the ball of the big toe over to the ball of the little toe. And as if you're standing in sand at the beach, press those feet down and send the crown up. Take the hands to the hips. Draw the elbows back to lift the sternum. As you lengthen the tailbone, inhale and lift up, gaze up. And as you exhale, fold forward over the legs. So either sliding the hands down the legs and pausing, or taking the hands to chair or blocks. Find your 90 degrees, your lengthening here. Knees lifting up, quadriceps engaged. Pubic bone, tailbone, thighs all drawing back, bringing length to the abdomen, to the side waists. Crown of the head in line with the tailbone. And then if you'd like from here, taking a full fold by inhaling, lengthening, and exhale, letting the crown of the head drop and coming further down. You can stay in the 90-degree position if you prefer that. So you decide. You can also, some people like to take hold of the big toes with the first two fingers and bend the elbows and drop the head, come down that way. Any way you prefer. And then when you're ready, hands to the hips. Inhale to come up. Exhale back to center. And we'll take a wide leg forward fold. So step or hop the legs apart, outer edges parallel to the mat, and then if it's okay for your ankles, it can be nice to turn the toes in slightly. You might want to put the blocks here at the center or chair, depending for you on coming forward, hands to the hips. Inhale, draw the elbows back, lift the heart, make space in the side waists. Exhale, fold forward, take the hands down. Again, it's the same idea, right? Legs are wider, but again, drawing up on the kneecaps, engaging the quads, feeling that the thigh bones draw back, the pubic bone and tailbone lengthen and draw back as the crown of the head extends in the opposite direction forward. And then if you'd like, on an exhale, dropping the head down towards the floor. Maybe you rest the head on a block. Fingertips in line with the toes. Elbows drawing toward each other, elbows bent. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, lift up, gaze up. Exhale, come back to center. Heel toe the feet or hop the feet back together. We're going to come back down toward the floor, to seated. And again, if you want some cushion under you, you can take the blanket to support you. So again, returning to this place that's often associated with power or anger, kind of all in the same family here, the solar plexus. We're going to take boat pose, sitting up on the sitting bones and lengthening the crown of the head, widening the collarbones. Just practice at first with the hands under the thighs and the soles of the feet to the floor, exhaling and drawing the whole torso back. So you're making a V here. Feet are still on the floor. And then inhale, come forward. Exhale, drop back. Navel in, ribs corseting. Long spine, inhale up, and you're exhaling back. Just a few times to feel this engagement. Building this heat helps us find sensitivity and awareness in this area, right? Often, whole solar plexus, belly, we can become very detached from it. And then come on back up again. And this time we're going to come back and you have some choices. You can keep the feet on the ground, or you can lift the feet up. You can keep the knees bent, or you can feeling awesome or strong, I should say, stronger. You can lower and lift, up to you. Guard your low back, of course. So see where your boat pose wants to be. Hold for a few breaths. Core is engaged. And then release. Right, so there's no better, there's no, just whatever is working for you. Counter stretch if your wrists are okay. Taking the hands behind you with the fingers pointing forward this way. Plant those feet. Elbows are drawing together. Press into the feet. Lift the hips up. Tabletop. Chin can be tucked or head can draw back. So if the wrists and shoulders feel okay, you can do that. And then come on down. And we're going to take boat 2 more times. So finding your way in once again. See where you want to be with this pose. Let your breath flow. Release. If it works for you, tabletop, hands back, lifting. You can even just lift a little bit, right? Or you can come up further. Or you can prop up on fingertips and just lift the chest up if that feels a little more accessible, right? So see what works for you, for your shoulders, etc. Come back, pause a moment. And then once again, boat pose. Sitting it back, extending. Hold for a few breaths. Release. And if you like, tabletop, pressing into the feet, lifting up on the hips. And then come on down. You're going to take a seated twist. So this is nice to have a little elevation on your blanket. So we want to have strength and presence in the core. We also want to have pliability and resilience, right? When we move into a space of holding power or feeling angry, we want to make sure that there's some amount of flexibility within that, resilience, right? So for that, we need our twists. And of course, for digestion, we need our twists. So left leg extended, right knee bent, bring the shin in. So you can stay parallel and twist. You can cross over and twist. You can take the bottom leg under and twist. Bunch of options. So decide where you want to be for your twist today. With the hands clasped to the right shin, inhale and lift up. And with your exhale from that solar plexus area, twist. Left elbow cradling the right knee perhaps, or outside the right knee. See what you need as you move into this twist. With each inhale, tall spine. With each exhale, twisting a little more. As you're ready, release. Take a counter twist to the left. And we switch sides. Whatever variation you had on the first side, see if that works for you for the second side. And I should have mentioned also, you can certainly do this seated in a chair. Hands clasped. You can do it seated in the chair by just crossing one leg over and twisting. Hands clasped to the left shin. Inhale tall. And exhale, spin it to the left. Adjust that right arm accordingly. Each inhale, the spine is tall. Each exhale spins you. When you're ready, release and counter twist the other direction. And then come on back to center. And let's come on to the belly for a moment. You can have the blanket under you if you like. Make a pillow with your hands for your forehead and lay it down. And rock the hips a little bit side to side. Just letting go thighs, hips. Give a little massage for the quadriceps. Also let the heels go a little side to side. And then we're going to come into Sphinx pose by pressing into the hands. And then more traditional Sphinx here would be elbows under the shoulders, palms reaching and extending forward, hands pressing down, kind of dragging the heart forward, widening the collarbones. So see wherever's comfortable, right? You might just want to be right here. The idea is lengthen the tailbone and then lengthen through each vertebra to make an even curve through the spine. So I'm here modeling a very low curve, but it's also giving me something, it's really plenty in a way. I'm lengthening my tailbone, getting some length through the abdomen, and really protecting my low back in this position. So see what works for you best. And then lower down, and we'll come up again. You can either come up to Sphinx or you can come into Cobra by taking the hands in line with your chest, the elbows hugging in toward the rib cage. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. I have my feet hip width. If you want to protect your back, give it some more width. You could take your legs even wider than that. Some people like to have feet together, so see what works for you. But tops of the feet pressing into the floor. Draw the navel toward the spine and draw the tailbone into length. And inhale, send the crown of the head forward. Lengthen. I don't have much weight in the hands. But then as you come up, you can start to press into the hands. And if you'd like to bring the hands a little more forward, if that's helpful, even way out in front, that's possible too. Right? So lots of possibilities. This is sort of the traditional instruction here, but feel free to take it forward. The main thing is finding this long arc for the spine. Backward extension, right? Or what we call back bending often. And then as you're ready, exhale, lower down. Press into the hands and sit it back. It could be a puppy pose here, or more of a child pose, lengthening all the way back. And perhaps the arms extended forward. Counter pose. So see what you need. For some people it's not quite as feel good to go from a lot of back bending to a lot of forward here. So see what you need, right? But so it could be here a little more neutral. And if you'd like, you can walk the arms side to side for a little side bending in either direction. Just noticing how you feel. And then when you're ready, just flipping over, coming on to the back. One more twist. So, drawing the knees toward the chest, taking arms out, shoulder height. You can shift the hips a little to the left if that works for you when you're taking the knees over to the right. Inhale here, and then exhale those knees over to the right as you leave the left shoulder down towards the floor. You can put a block between the knees for some support and ease, gives a little ease to that left buttock, left hip. So again, the idea here, the connection from the Torah to the embodied practice today is about Korach's idea was sort of hardened and fixed and in service of ego, right? And this solar plexus area that kind of governs that ego activity and power was hardened. We want to seek to not seed power or seed anger. I want to be clear about that. These are important emotions, access points, right? But we want to have within it a pliability, a flexibility, an understanding, and a very deep sensitized awareness to that power center, to that ego center, to that third chakra center that was missing in this piece of the story. Inhale, bring your knees back to center. And then, of course, we'll take the knees down to the left, make the adjustments that you need in order to do that. Inhale, the knees come to the chest in the center, and exhale the knees over to the left. Keeping the right shoulder blade, right outer shoulder down as much as you can. A block again between the knees if you like. So the work we did today was both to strengthen in some cases, like boat pose, like bird dog, right? The core. It's to strengthen the abdominal center, that center of power, ego, but also to find some pliability within it through the twists that we engaged. So this can be an inquiry for you throughout the week. And of course, where do I feel, we can kind of also put forth the question, where do I feel anger? Where do I notice it in the body when it arises? It might be in this place, but not limited to this place. Inhale and bring the knees back through center and just give the knees a hug, or take any counter stretch that you would like. You might feel anger arising in the jaw. Sometimes the jaw tightens, or in the throat. Sometimes the throat tightens, or in the shoulders or the chest. So there are many key places where anger might arise. We can take time to notice and work skillfully. In collaboration with the people in our lives. And now we're going to just find some stillness. You might want to take the blanket and roll it and place it under your knees, or place it under the back of your neck. You can also, if it's under your neck, take a small roll to lay under those cervical vertebrae. Give some support to the neck. That little roll. Let the head be down. So any way you would like to take stillness. It might be knees bent or legs long. It might be the palms out to the sides facing up, arms straight. It might be elbows bent and hands on the belly. A few minutes of quiet. Begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes as you start to come back to the surface. And take any final stretches. Maybe you want to extend out in a long starfish position for a long body, yawn, stretch, sigh. Taking the time you need to come up to a comfortable seat. As we explore Parshat Korach through this week and move into Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, we have a few questions we can explore about power center. Can take into the nervous system and into our being in a very deep way our embodied practice. And of course, we never hold our practice only for ourselves. We send out the benefits. If you have anyone in mind who needs refu'ah, healing, refuat hanefesh, or refuat haguf, the healing of soul or of body, please bring them to mind. You can even Say their names into the space that you're in. You can pray for whole communities and for our whole planet. All who are suffering, may suffering come to an end. And we keep in mind the chatufim, the hostages in Gaza, continuously, as our Monday liturgy instructs us to recite Achenu Kol Beit Israel. We pray that they'll be returned immediately. Even when it feels out of reach, aspirational, we can keep our minds with them. Feel free to join me in these words singing, or just listen and let them wash over you, into you. Achenu kol Beit Israel, achyoteinu kol Beit Israel, hanetunim betzara uvashivya, haomdim ben bayam uven bayabash. Hamakom Yerachem Aleim, veyotzim mitzara lirevacha, umeafel aleora, mishibud rigeula, hashta bagala, uvizman kariv. Hashta bagala uvizman kariv benomar. Amen. Thank you, Mary. I like this extended prayer very much. Thank you to all humans caught in strife, to all the hostages of power. May all beings be free. Amen. Thank you all. Really wonderful to be with you. We